you paid me $1 million, I wouldn't gotta go and do it no more.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Typically, in the morning, you wait at the shanty till about 7 o'clock. Then, at 7, you start making your way up the steel. Climbing up the ladder. Every 2 floors you plank it off. Then you disconnect the choking cable from the boom and hook it up to the mast. You get a heavy load on the job. Something like 250 to 300 pounds. I've been on towers probably 120 to 130 feet high. Heights like that scare most people. So naturally, every ironworker's got an ego. You're doing something somebody else can't do. And you get to wear a tool belt. When you're a kid right out of high school and you got the wrenches in there like a holster, you're like a cowboy or a sailor or something. Now let's say I put a 2x4 on the floor. I could knock you off with a stick, but we put it 50 feet in the air. You overreact. You're gonna end up falling off. That's why most ironworkers start out as kids. When you're a kid, right out of high school, and the guy next to you starts walking the plank, you're gonna walk it too. Ironworkers very, very rarely fall in the hole. Well, that's what we call it. If somebody fell off, they fell in the hole. We talk about it a lot among ourselves. When you get as old as I am, you're gonna get some real scares. I notice myself, I get that copper taste. Well, you know when you're a little kid and you put a penny in your mouth, you get that taste? It's a taste of fear, I guess. As long as you've worked on this job, you begin to realize that it's easier to drop down and coon across the beams. It's easier to lose all the hair on the inside of your legs. You can always tell an ironworker because he's got no hair on the inside of his legs. Another bad thing. We ain't got no outhouses or anything like that up here. So, we piss in the columns. It's bad because you're gonna have to end up going down there. Oh, the worst thing in the world is having to burn something down there. It's like cooking a toilet. I started ironworking when I was 18 years old. My brother's ironworked, my dad ironworked, so it was a natural cause of events. Well, my father was extremely upset I didn't go to college. We had a college boy here a couple summers ago. One day, we were climbing up the steel, and he sees a book in my back pocket. He looks at me and you're like, "You read?" That's what can get to you. The non-recognition by people. To say a man is just a laborer, A woman just a housewife? It can get to you sometimes. Some mornings, some days, I love to look across the skyline for a building. Well, say, that building right there. I always look down and I always see some big, fancy car pulling into the parking garage I built. And I know it's a guy from the burbs driving it. And I know he's never gonna think of me. But I think of him sometimes. Sitting there, driving his air-conditioned car to his air-conditioned office. Just sitting there enjoying the ride.
I've been parking cars for 32 years. In my younger days, I was the best. I could drive any car like a baby. Like a woman change her baby's diapers. I still get customers say, "Wow, you sure can drive. How long you been doing it?" I tell them I started when I was 16, and I'm still doing it. All my days cars. All my waking hours is cars. I get up in the morning, I drive my car to work. I get here, it's the customer's car. Then I drive my car home at night. When I go out at night, my wife drives. I'm known from Peking to Hong Kong, from the West Coast to the Picos. Hiking cars is my game. In an automobile, I used to be a hell on wheels. That's what earned me my name. Will you ask anybody to tell you about loving Al? You can ask anybody, and anybody will tell you. There was a time when nobody could beat me doing what I do. I'd punch out a ticket, slide under the wheel, and right off the bat have it under control. Using one hand, I'd spin her around without looking back to the straight in the hole. People ask me, how you do it? I tell them there ain't nothing to it. 'Cause I'm loving Al the wizard. One swing out, that's me. Loving Al is a wizard, so don't be surprised at what you see. One swing in, one swing out. Look out! There he goes! Now when you're parking cars, you're working for tips, see? So you gotta know the types. Now the working man is your best tipper. He works all day, but he'll still tip you $10. You get one of these big guys riding up in a big fancy nice Cadillac, you know what he's gonna tip you? $1 measly. But then you got your regular customers. Now your regular customers, they tip once a week. We give them what we like to call soigné service. Of course, the customers who don't tip, you have to give them service as well, but it ain't soigné. Why can't I be a rich man with some big bucks in my buy me a brand new caddy and a 50-cent cigar. 'Cause you can't smoke them 10-cent stogies when you're riding in a rich man's car. I see him get out with the tuxedos on, and when I get in, I can smell the cologne. The music be up. I've been listening a while, just sit there pretending that it was my own. I may sit longer than I should. Oh, that's 'cause it feels so good to loving Al the Wizard. One swing, Al, that's me. Loving Al is a wizard, so don't be surprised at what you see. One swing in, one swing out, and look out. I sat down and it looked like I was sitting in the back. You better pull that seat up, boy. I'm almost 7 feet. I said, mister, I never moved anybody's seat. I'm loving Al the Wizard. Weaving me a dream. Loving Al is a wizard. I'm king of the parking lot, Grand Prix. I got a skip. I see a tip. Woo. Loving Al, signing off.
I'm a project manager. I am here at work at 7:30 a.m. I leave at 5 p.m. In between my meetings, I answer messages, email, and try to avoid my boss. One always has a boss. You have a boss, your boss has a boss, and there's politics there the entire time. Sometimes you'll have a good boss, which I've had, and sometimes you have a Satan boss, like the boss I have now. We sent out a notice that said the Brotherhood of Cubicle Cuties would like to have a Christmas party. And he calls me into his office and he says, "You can't start a union here." I'm looking at him going, "You should be focusing on the fact that we haven't delivered any work for 2 months."
I've been in a lot of queues. I've been in the high queues. I've been in the half-high queues. At this one place, they didn't even have any queues. There were just desks. All 8 of us desks with little phone lines, little buttons that light up when you're on them. I'm going, oh yeah, my career is really taking off now. I decorate the walls of my cubicle with posters. I bring in flowers, brought in my favorite ceramic lamp. These little things on top of my computer, we call them computer gods. I guess I do have more decorations than I realized, but I like getting fun things because it's kind of, you know, if you look at it without the decorations, it's kind of a drab-looking place. So things like glow-in-the-dark skeletons, they go a long way.
I can see the programmer in the cubicle next to me through the reflection in the window. At night, I can see her reflection and what she's doing. Quite often, she's emailing jokes to her sister. I also acquired a webcam. I set it up so it points behind me, and I have a little window on my computer which is the webcam picture. So, if somebody walks behind me, I can see them.
One guy in the corner of my room talks very loud on the phone. I hear him talking to this girl he loves. His mom's giving him help, things like that. Finally, I said, you know, I hear everything you're talking about. Now I hear in the corner on the phone. And I know something sensitive is going on.
This industry is highly hit by mergers, which means significant layoffs. I've been through 2 of them. My mentality is quite different than those 20 years older, the lifers. I have no sense of loyalty anymore, because I know they have a business to run and they'll lay me off if it's prudent. I accept that. But for those 15 years senior, they've given their lives here. And for a few measly bucks, they're tossing us aside. I'm like, get over it! It's a different world! I don't perceive that anyone my age thinks, oh, they got hired here. They've got a job for life. What they feel is, all right, I'm gonna get as much as I can from this, and then I move on and get more money. Jobs aren't big enough for people. When you ask someone who they are, they define themselves by their jobs. They'll say, I'm a doctor, or I'm a radio announcer, or I'm a carpenter. When someone asks me, I say, I'm Amanda McKinney, and at certain points in time, I do things for a living.
I am a man who likes to work. Some people enjoy tennis. I enjoy work. I enjoy being a leader. I enjoy being the guy that everybody looks to. I like the responsibility of having thousands of people working for me. In our world of money, money management is the sexiest job there is. If I am called a freebooter, a pirate, or a robber baron, I take it as a compliment, absolutely. Who developed America? Was it the regulators, the SEC, or was it the Mellons? The Rockefellers. Tell me what they did wrong. Sure, Rockefeller shot down some workers in the copper field. Some say exploited them. Absolutely! Listen, how many charities were started by these people? How many national parks were preserved by these robber barons? These were the men who built our city, who built our country. Unless you have losers, you cannot have winners.
Excuse me, Mr. Midship. You asked me to remind you you have an overseas call coming in 5 minutes.
Listen, I'm gonna have to cut this short. I want to get on the phone before the market splits over. People these days work long hours. Kids these days work harder than ever before. Kid wants to make, he's gotta be willing to work long hours. Then he's gotta go to school nights and learn federal policy. That's how you outsmart the regulators to make a profit. It's easy, please. You can outsmart one little government staff, you shouldn't come to work in the morning. I should be their teacher. You know, I always wanted to teach, but they don't want a businessman. They want someone in the academic world with a formalized and I think empty training. That's what I like to do when I'm tired of all this. Get involved with young people. Pass along my knowledge, my experience, my values.
Good morning, Christy. How are you?
Good.
Oh, good morning, Allie. I missed you. In your heart, you may have a dislike for a certain child, but you force yourself to say, "Good morning, Alex. How you doing?" My name is Rose Hoffman. I teach 3rd grade. At 9:15, we start with arithmetic. I have tables fun on the board. Multiplication. You don't say tables, you say tables fun. Everything has to be fun, fun, fun. And then we have a penmanship lesson. See, I have a Palmer Method diploma, and I tell my kids, Miss Hoffman's here, everybody works. Working is a blessing. But I don't give them assignments over their heads. I don't tell them the reason for things. I give them the rote method. This is very boring, very monotonous, but habit is a great thing for these children. They adore it. Habit, they love habit. So I like to be sure my room is clean. The desks are well organized. I like uniformity and I love straight lines. The neighborhood is changing. And the type of child is changing too. Today I have 32 in my class, and there are about 23 Spanish. In the old days, you had 18 to 20 kids who stayed in your class from the beginning bell to the very end. Today, the child comes in, then leaves for computer lab, art therapy, teaching English as a second language. I am shocked that English is taught as a second language. When my parents came over, I didn't learn Jewish at the taxpayer's expense. Polish didn't learn Polish as the first language. Oh yes, I have seen great changes since I began teaching. Of course, when I began teaching, my students were Polish primarily. And in those days, we had the paddle. That was very effective. I believe in corporal punishment. It builds respect and trust. My classroom was always a showcase. In those days, we did it ourselves. With colorful pictures and charts on the wall. A snowman in winter, a pumpkin in fall. And all my supplies were in neat little piles on the shelves. My children were always respectful. When the principal came, they would rise. If I had to leave for a minute or two, they always found something constructive to do, and everyone sat in their places according to size. But kids don't know how to behave anymore. Ask them to rise, and they ask you what for. We confiscate weapons and drugs at the door. No spitballs and comic books now. They say I'm supposed to keep up with the times, but nobody tells me how. I made a big thing about spelling, and they learned by the time I got through. They copied the words till they knew them by heart. 10 times for the dumb ones and twice for the smart. And gold stars were given to those who made sentences too. But why bother teaching them spelling today? Nobody knows how to read, by the way. How can you spell what you can't even say? They're free to express themselves now. The way I've been teaching for 40-some years is no longer effective, or so it appears. Well, why not? It worked for me then, so what's wrong with it now? They say I'm supposed to keep up with the times, but nobody ever tells me how. There is one little girl who stands out in my mind in all my years of teaching. My favorite, Pam. She was special. She wasn't very bright, but she was never any trouble. I see her every once in a while. She works at the checker down at Treasure Island Supermarket. She has the same smile for everyone.
There isn't a thing you don't want that isn't in this store. From soda pop to a genuine pearl in a can of oysters. And I know the code for every one of them. On the register is a little book with all the codes in it. That's for the part-time girls. I never look at it. You got your green grapes 4022 and your reds is 4023. You got your Granny Smith 17, Australian Naval 12. I tell you, it just comes to me. I got my right hand ready on the register. Use my left to scan the groceries. And when I PLU it for the flowers or the fruit, I never have to look at the keys. Please, I'm just moving. I'm just moving. Way more fun support hose, my Dr. Shawl shoes, and down to Treasure Island, and away my blues. By just moving. So I don't want no office, no siree. Give me the grocery, no matter how hectic it gets. So be moving, 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 moving. Babe, and her treasure island cigarettes. Paper, plastic.
Work? Oh, I don't work. Well, I mean, yes, I work, but I don't have a job. Well, I mean, what I do only matters to 3 people. All I am is just a housewife. Nothing special, nothing great. What I do is kind of boring. If you'd rather, it can wait. All I am is someone's mother. All I am is someone's wife. All of which seems unimportant. All it is just my life. The laundry, wash the dishes, take the dog out, clean the house, shop for groceries, look for specials. Gee, it sounds so Mickey Mouse. Drop the kids off, pick the shirts up, try to lose weight, try again. Keep the troops fed, pick their things up, lose your patience, count to 10. All I am is just a housewife, nothing great. What I do is out of fashion, what I feel is out of date. All I am is someone's mother. Right away I'm not too bright. What I do is unfulfilling. So the TV talk shows tell me every night. I don't mean to complain at all, but they make you feel like you're 2 feet tall when you're just a wife. Just a house. All they see are the pots and pans and the Pepsi cans of a person's life. You're a whiz if you go to work, but you're just a jerk if you say you won't. People say that they think it's fine if the choice is mine, but you know they don't. What I do, what I choose to do, may be done to you, but it's not to me. Is it dumb that they need me there? Is it dumb to care? 'Cause I do, you see. And I mean, did you ever think, really stop and think what a job it was? Doing all the things that a housewife I'm afraid it's unimpressive. All could have said something earlier rather than just jumping out and yelling UPS. It's all right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. You have to make excitement for yourself, you know? Where is he? Where is he? I've been bit once already by a Doberman. And that's the biggest part of a dog's day, when the UPS man comes. I had one house where I tried to make friends with the dog. It was a schnauzer or some little damn thing. I started to walk away because it was just barking its full head off. It just fell over. I thought it had a heart attack or something. But then the lady said, he usually relapses from barking too much. I usually hit it in the head with my clipboard. But then they say, why did you hit it? The dog's not gonna hurt you. And I say, lady, it's jumping on me, it's scratching me. So, when nobody's looking, you kick him down the street. Even if he's just following you, you try to get him for the one you missed a couple houses back. Yeah, that's the big subject of conversation among us, dogs and women. You have a nice looking babe that kind of brightens your day. You have a code you put on the sheet. You have a Q that stands for cutie. You have a nice little honey laying out there in her backyard in a two-piece bathing suit. Oh, she'll be laying there on her stomach with her top strap undone. And if you go there and you scare her good enough, she'll jump up. Now, to scare them where they jump up and you might be able to see them better, takes time. It gives you something to do during the day. It adds excitement. UPS!
I work in a luggage factory. We make suitcases. The tank I work at is 6 feet deep, 8 foot square, in 40 seconds. You have to take the wet felt out of the felter. Put the blanket on to draw out the excess moisture. Wait 2, 3 seconds. Take the blanket off. Get the wet piece and set it on your shoulder. Reach over, get the hose. Spray the inside of the copper screen. Turn around, walk to the hot, dry dye behind you. Pick up the hot piece and set it on the floor. Pick up the wet piece and put it in the dry dye. Push this button. Inspect the piece we just took off, stack it, count it, 40 seconds. In the summertime, the temperature of our workstation ranges anywhere from 100 to 150 degrees. I've taken thermometers and checked it out. I have arthritis in the joints in my fingers and naturally in my shoulder from balancing the wet piece. The hose will sometimes leak and spray back on you. The hydraulic presses leak, so you're slipping in oil. You have the possibility of being burnt every time the hot felt hits the dry dye. You're just engulfed in a cloud of steam every 40 seconds. The tanks I work at run 24 hours a day. I work 8 straight hours with 2 10-minute breaks and 1 20-minute break for lunch. I find it difficult to eat my lunch in that length of time. 40 seconds. Granddad was a sailor, and he blew in off the water. My father was a farmer, and I his only daughter. I took up with a no-good mill-working man from Massachusetts. He died from too much whiskey better than men do because they're used to doing more than two things at a time, whereas a man can only think about one thing at a time. A woman can listen to a child while she's doing something else. It's the same way on the Thames. You get to be completely automatic in what you're doing while your mind is doing something else. My mind begins to wander to my days back on the farm, and I can see my father smiling at me, swinging from his arm. I get to hear my granddad's stories, the storms out on Lake Erie, vessels and cargoes, fortunes and sailors' lives were lost. It's my life has been wasted, and I have been a fool to let this manufacturer use my body for a tool. I get to ride home in the evening, staring at my hands, swearing by my sorrows that a young girl ought to stand a better chance. And may I work the seal just as long as I am able, and never meet the man whose name is on the label. And it's me and my machine for the rest of the morning, and the rest of the afternoon gone, and the rest of my life. You wish you didn't have to work in a factory when it's all you know how to do. It's what you do. If I could have been what I could have been, I could have been something. If what I could be had been up to me, I would have been something. A tower of strength, a center of power, at $10 an hour. If I could have done what I could have done, I could have done big things. With some luck to do what I wanted to, I would have done big things. Swam a few rivers, climbed a few hills, paid all my bills. Now it's just dreams that I'm stuck with, and hell, that ain't a lot to show. I haven't got far from the starting line, but deep down inside, resting outside, no.
I could have gone where I could have gone. I could have gone places with leeway to go. Far as I could go, I would have gone places. To the front of the line, the top of the tiers, a long way from here.
Way back then I had ambition, a lot of stamina and guts. I never took no for an answer. It was tougher to fight all those ifs, ands, or buts. All those ifs, ands, or buts. If I could have been what I could have been, I could have been so
it's a pretty good day laying stone. You get interested in what you're doing, and you usually fight the clock the other way. You're not looking for quitting. You're wondering, you haven't got enough done, and it's almost quitting time. There's not a house in this country I haven't built that I don't look at every time I go by. And if one stone's crooked, I still notice it. The people that live there might not notice it, but I notice it. Stone's my business. Stone's my life. I daydream all the time about stone. Someday, I'm gonna build me a stone cabin down on the Great River. I'm gonna build stone cabinets in the kitchen, everything stone. All my dreams, seems like they have to have a piece of rock mixed up in them. He builds a house with his hands. 30 years of iron stands. It stands where nothing stood. A house of stone. The mason sleeps real good. He does his work day flies. When times a big surprise, and then there's one more stone to get just right. It's always one more stone before the night. Every house he builds, every stone he lays, it's not just making money and counting up the days. He builds a house with his hands. 100 years of iron stands. It tells you who he was. A life goes fast, but the work makes it does. It's made to last. The work makes it does. Nothing in this world lasts forever. But with stone, you're getting awful close. It's made to last.
let me go in peace. I'm independent. I ain't got no taste at all. And cause the airman and the CIO still on the road. And the only man telling me where to go is the man who owns Brother. And he says, roll, 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 brother trucker. I say where and then y'all say where. Roll, 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 brother trucker. I'm back on my wheels, yeah. Roll, 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 brother trucker. I back it on up and do it again. I got to roll, 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 brother trucker. I'm back on my wheels again. I make 2 round trips to Milwaukee. I pass within 4 blocks of my house, and I never go home. You sit in your truck, and your only companionship is your own thoughts. Get mighty lonely not talking to anybody for 48 hours. Well, halfway back from Milwaukee, you gotta call your dispatcher, and let me tell you, you're just gonna have to talk to me. Oh, hello, this is... Hello? Hello? Hello?
Atlantic, may I help you?
Yeah, I just got cut off.
I'm sorry you're having trouble. Who may I connect you with?
Extension 5910.
I'm sorry, sir, that line was busy.
Come on, lady, I was just talking 5 minutes ago.
I'm sorry, sir. Perhaps he is trying to reach you. Why don't you wait 5 minutes and try again? Now, let's do our talk to them if they sound upset. For me, it's a temptation to say, gee, what's the matter? But all you can say is, I'm sorry you're having trouble. If you get caught talking to them, that's 1 mark against you. You can't think about it. One man said, lady, I'm lonesome, will you talk to me? I said, gee, I'm sorry, I just can't. But you can't. I'm a communications person. I can't even communicate.
I always thought of a receptionist as the dumb broad at the front desk taking phone messages. But now I am one, so of course I've changed my opinion. She had to be special, right? Because I thought I was special. I was waiting until we had this office party. I'd be having a fairly intelligent conversation with someone when they'd ask me what I did. When I'd say I'm a receptionist, they'd make up some excuse and walk away. Now I make up other names for what I do. Communications control, servo mechanism.
It's strange, but you get tired of talking. My mouth gets tired because I talk constantly for 6 hours straight without a 10-minute break. You can't think about it. Everyone's in a hurry to talk to somebody else, but not to talk to you.
I'm tired at the end of the day. Tired of talking. There isn't a 10-minute break in the day that's quiet. You can't think. What I do all day is say what I have to say as quickly as possible and switch the call to whoever it's going to. I notice people have asked me to slow down when I talk.
Do I listen on phone conversations?
I never listen in on phone conversations. But I'll tell you, some girls really do.
Especially if you're working late at night. Some of the people on the line are so funny. You'll sit there and listen and laugh until tears roll down your face.
I don't care who the receptionist is. The greatest thing is listening in on a phone conversation.
It makes the night go faster.
Sometimes, to make the day go faster, I do drawings. Mondrian, sort of, things of nature, never people. I pretend I'm alone and things are quiet. I call it the land of no phone. I never answer the phone at home.
I saw the sign in the paper. Equal opportunity employer. Salary plus commission. When I got the job, I was thrilled. All I had to do was talk to the phone. We didn't even have to think of what to say. That had all written out for us.
Atlantic, may I help you? I'm sorry, sir, that line is busy. Perhaps he's trying to reach you. Why don't you wait 5 minutes and try again?
Good afternoon, short shaper Gamble and Rice. May I help you? I'm sorry, he's on another line. Would you like his voicemail?
Hello, this is Mrs. Dubois. May I have a moment of your time? If you would only for 3 short months subscribe to our newspaper, it's for a worthy cause to help the blind children. What really did it for me was this one call I made. It was the worst getaway dance. The guy listened patiently and said, I really would like to help. He was blind himself. And here I was, sitting here, telling him a bunch of lies. I apologized and thanked him. I ran to the ladies' room. I was nauseous. I prayed right there in the restroom. I said, Dear God, there must be some other work for me. I've never harmed anyone in my have been back and finished the day because I had no other means of employment. And then, as if my prayers had been answered, I got another job. I walked right into my supervisor's office, and I told him a few things. I was sick of his bullying. I wasn't going to lie to him anymore. I can't tell you exactly what I said, but I didn't shout. I was very calm. Oh, I felt good. I still work in the same building, and I pass in the hallways every once in a while. And when I do, I keep my head very high, very erect, and I just keep walking.
It's so nice to run into somebody who says, it's a nice day out. How's your day been? Has it been a rough day? You're so thankful for these people. You say, oh, it's been an awful day.
Thank you for asking.
Good evening. Christopher's. No, I'm sorry, we don't have anything till 9:30. Yes, I'm sorry, we're very busy tonight.
Would you like your quota of mercury today? What's exciting and more that I can offer? It would be very boring if I had to say, would you like a cocktail over and over? So I come out different for my own enjoyment. I say, what's exciting and more that I can offer? Or something. Maybe with cocktails, I give them a little philosophy. They have a coffee? I give them political science. I have an opinion on every single subject there is. My bosses don't like it, so I speak sotto voce. But if I get heated, I don't give a damn. I speak like an Italian speaks. I have to be a waitress. How else does the world come to me? Everyone wants to eat. Everyone has hunger. And I serve them. I give service. I can't be servile. There is a difference. I get intoxicated with giving service. It becomes theatrical, but I feel like Clara Hardy, and it intoxicates me. I'm on stage. There's some that don't care when they put down the plate. There's a sound, not with me. When they move a chair, it will scream with a grate on the ground. Not with me. I will have my hand wrapped when I place a glass. Notice how I stand right as customers pass. Serve it to the top with a gesture of hand, or do it again till it's near Oriental. Is it art to be a fine waitress, to see that you pleasure each guest? There's a twist to my wrist when I bring your steak in, and watch how I take in your liver and bacon. It all will be stylish and smart. That's what makes it an art. I remember one day, as I do now and then, I had shakes. Down I went. There with my tray full of cordials and coffees and cakes. Down I went. But I kept my noise, not one guest heard me call. Never made a noise, not one noise. Food and all. If you have to crawl, you'll give up one daylight. You carry your tray like it's almost ballet-like. Even that was an art. Here is your steak, milady. I like to say milady. I hate ma'am, and sometimes I say playfully to the man, your check, my lord.
Let's see what we shall take you today.
Do what you want. Don't play that with me. Tips? Ha! Tips are important for people like captains and barmen. For them, it's a tip. See, for me, I'm a tipsy, just cost me a point, and I suddenly feel like I'm Carmen. Hawaii for 2 weeks. I went with my lover. One of my daughters said, act your age. I said, honey, if I were acting my age, I wouldn't be walking. Not after 16 years on this job.
In 15 years, I'll have my pension time in.
I'll be eligible to retire. 25 years.
I've got 36 years to go.
Another 29 years.
37 years.
Just once. Just once. I want to know what it feels like to not have to go to work.
Hey. Yeah, right.
When I retired, the first 2 years I was downhearted. I had no place to go, nothing to do. Then I gave myself a good going over. Joe, I says, you can't sit at home like that and waste your time. You gotta get out, do things. Well, the day goes pretty fast for me now. I don't daydream a bit. I just think of something and forget it. That daydreaming, it don't do you no good. You gotta keep busy, keep moving, that's the trick. You wake at 10, fold up the bed. You don't want to leave your couch open all day, you know it's depressing. You cook a leg, you toast some bread. You cook for yourself, you save a bundle. You don't look after your money, who will? You think about that day ahead. You don't go feeling sorry for yourself. It's like I said, you can sit at home and be mad at the world, or you can get out and do things. You take a walk, you meet a chum. This guy lived down by National Biscuit. Boy, you should see the aroma. You shoot the bull, you argue some. Maybe calls up a couple other fellas to play some poker, and you lose at gin until they come. This guy remembers what card you picked up. The dirty bum. Not even getting beat at gin beats doing nothing all day. You take a bus, you take a train, cause you're going to visit your wife's grave. On the way there, you read the Reader's Digest. It does you good to use your brain. Or maybe you're going to visit your cousin. You bring a six-pack along and you take a stroll down memory lane. When we was young, we was always together. And raising Cain. Oh, we go back a long way, hearing me all the times we had. I remember once, back in 42, we were at this fair with these girls we knew. We were on this ride where you screamed or you prayed. The Big Dipper, they called it. We could hardly walk as we left the car, and we staggered down for a candy bar where we sat and laughed in the penny arcade. At 6 o'clock, you watch the news. Them politicians make you so mad you throw your slippers at the set. You cook some Franks, no big to-dos. Most nights you lay around, straighten up, maybe you'll call your daughter. You watch a game, you take a snooze, but then there's Sunday. Sunday's different. You change your shirt and shine your shoes, cause you're going around the block to the tavern. You shoot some pool, you drink some beer. You don't need to drink a lot to have a good time, you know, 3 or 4 in an evening. You find a pal, you bend his ear. You meet a lot of your old folk down there Sunday. Sometimes you sing the kind of song you never hear, like Stardust, you're in the mood. And then you cheer. The other night we sang Till We Meet Again. Believe it or not, I once did a waltz to that tune. Honest. It was at a dance, I was 17, and the girl was like from a magazine, and the lights were low, and I really mean low. I think a couple of my friends had something to do with that. And I kissed her cheek as we waltzed away. I remember that like it's yesterday. Why was she surprised? I can hear her say, Joe. drive you home from round the block. You take the cash out of your sock. You make the bed, you check the lock. You wind the clock. When I retired, a lot of people told me, Joe, you've got your health. You shouldn't have done it. But it was too late. I don't know why I retired. It's just a habit, I guess. But I got no regrets. I keep busy, keep traveling. I go to fires every once in a while. That fire we had on Milwaukee Avenue about 3 months ago, I was there. I was surprised to see how the smoke was coming out of the building, heavy as hell, but you can't see no flames, you know? They must have had 30 units there, and you get the news over the radio, but, boy, that was some fire.
You go in there, and it's dark. Smoke pouring out of the whole building. It all happens real fast. I feel this tremendous heat to my left. I turn around, the whole room is orange yellow. You can just see the orange and feel the heat. The lieutenant and the other firemen got a ladder up and saved 2 people. But downstairs, there was a guy trying to get out the door. They had bolts on the door. He was burned dead. You know what the lead man said? We lost a guy. We lost a guy. But you saved 2 people. How would you know a guy was sleeping on the pool table? Yeah, but we lost a guy. I always wanted to be a fireman. Lots of guys want to be firemen. It's like kids. Everybody's still a kid. Guys 40 years old, still kids inside. I used to be a cop. You know why I became a fireman? Because I like people. And sometimes, when I was a cop, I would feel the hate coming into me. I remember one time I was on the roof of this project, and I see this guy about 6'7" at the top of the stairs. He had his back to me. I go up to him and say, hey fella, turn around. He says, yeah, wait a minute. Elbows moving around his waist. I say, fella, turn around a minute. It dawned on me that he had a gun and he was trying to get it out of his belt. So I took out my gun and said, stop or I'm gonna shoot! He threw his hands up against the wall. So I took the department test in '93, and I got the call in '94. You know, this world is so messed up. This country is so messed up. But the firemen, you actually see them produce. You see them put out a fire. You see them come out of buildings with babies in their arms. You see them give mouth to mouth to a guy who's dying. You can't get around that. That's real. I worked at a bank once. You're looking at numbers. You're working with paper. That's not real. But I can look back and say, I helped put out a fire. I helped save somebody's life. It shows that I did something good on this earth. I always wanted to be a fireman.
You know what I always wanted to do? I wanted to play the piano. That's what I really wanted. And I'd write songs and things about my life growing up in the South. About my mama and grandmama. Now, I got my own beautiful daughter, and I got plans for her. So, I leave my house every morning and then go scrub rooms up at the Marriott. And at night, I come here to this office and it's scrubbing again. For generations, that's all we've done. Scrubbing. My grandma, my mama, and me. But my daughter, she ain't gonna do no domestic work. I aim to be the end of that particular line. Mama worked just like her mama before her. Domestic work was their trade. They was laundress, cook, live-in helper, stay girl, babysitter, and a hotel maid. They were 6 days a week, all day long, never could get out of debt. Those were the days when the minimum wage was anything you could get. They was clean women. comes from 4 generations of clean women. But my daughter, she's a whole new generation. And that's what we got coming up today. A whole new generation.
Ralph Warner. Ralph Warner. Ralph Warner. Ralph Warner. Hi, I'm Ralph Warner. I'm 19 years old. I ran a mutual fund for the students at my school. My father works on Wall Street. He runs his own firm. I guess you could say that's where I learned. He's what you'd call an arbitrageur. You know, one of those guys who always gets caught for insider trading. But I studied ethics in school, so I'm sure I won't have any problems. I also took a year of American history, and I read the paper every day. Well, the sports section and the business section. I'm going to business school, Wharton, naturally. What I'd really like to be is a professional golfer. But realistically, I think I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And then I'm going to start a family, of course, and my quote, dream girl, quote, has long brunette hair, and she doesn't have to wear a lot of makeup because she's going to be naturally pretty. And she's going to have loads of personality, which is going to be really important because when I'm 30 and we're climbing up the ladder, she's going to have a lot more than just good looks. And then kids. I hope to have 3 kids, and I hope to name one of them Ralph Jr. And then the house. I'm thinking something grand and majestic and colonial with a slight Mediterranean flair thrown in there. And it could be backed up onto the golf course so my wife and I could go golfing whenever we like. I hope my wife can golf. Yeah, she'll golf. I've also been looking into investing in some land out in Cape Cod. We're thinking about putting up some condominiums out there. It's kind of a little second job. Well, you wouldn't happen to be interested in some condominiums out in Cape Cod, would you? No? Will you? I think I'm about done.
My name's Charlie. I'll be 20 in 3 weeks. I was recommended for this job, see, as a copy boy on a Chicago paper. I went down to the paper, I talked to the editor, told him how much that I wanted to be a journalist. He liked me. I had a tie on. Coming to work for me was kind of a missionary kind of thing. See, I was bringing in organic raisins and organic walnuts and giving them away to everybody. See, at this stage of the game, I was in a very spiritual mood. I was enjoying my job because I was answering the phones most of the time. People would call up and they'd complain or have a question, and I'd tell them, look, this is a capitalist newspaper. And as long as it's a capitalist newspaper, it's not gonna serve you because its purpose is to make money for the owner. And I tell them they can either call up the editor or they can come down here and take over the paper. Some people responded very well to my suggestions. But the editor, he calls me into his office and he says, blah, 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 blah. You know what I really wanted to do? I wanted to take a baseball bat and smash his head in. I mean, he's a really nice person. I like him a lot. Well, I had to think fast. So I look the editor straight in the eye, and I say, I hope you can live with these conditions that you're creating. Then I turned around, walked out, and started to cry. Well, he hurries after me, And he says, now, I'm not creating these conditions, you are. And I said, no! I'm not the one who has the power. You've got the power! Now I've gotten myself on unemployment. Yeah, sure. They were nice to me the first couple of times. But then this lady, she tells me to get a number. You know what I wanted to say? Oh, yeah? Well, I can wait outside your apartment, knock you over the head, and steal your money. But that's bitterness. I don't like being bitter. I'm a pacifist.
Square. But my kid's my emperor. You know what I mean? This is why I work. Every time I see a smart young guy walking down the street dressed up real sharp, I'm looking at my kid. I want my kid to say to me, Dad, I don't want to be like you. I want him to look me square in the face and say, Dad, you're a real nice guy, but you're a dummy. If you can't improve yourself, improve your posterity. Otherwise, life ain't worth nothing, and you might as well go back to the cave and stay there. I'm sure the very first caveman who went over the hill to see the other side, he didn't do it wholly out of curiosity. He did it to get his son out of the cave. I heard a lot of songs say, where you going, my son? Now I know they're for real. Boy, you never stop to think how fast the years run and the things they steal. Now it seems I always knew why I do the things I do and the things I never did. Why I work my whole damn life so as I could give a better life than the one my dad could give me. I give it to my
After all, it's not just the work. Somebody built the pyramids.
The pyramids, the Empire State Building, these things don't just happen.
I don't care how little you did. You drive down the road and you say, I worked on that road.
If you see a bridge, you say, I worked on that bridge.
You know what I say? If a carpenter builds a cabin for poets, the poets owe the carpenter a little plaque. Just 3 or 4 lines in there. Though we labor with our minds, this place we can relax in was built by someone who can work with their hands.
Picasso can point at a painting and an author can point at a book, but what can I point to?
Everybody should have something to point to.
You know what I want? I want to see a building, say the Empire State. I want to see on one side a foot-wide strip with the name of every ironworker, every mason, everyone who worked on that building, so they can bring their kids there and say, see that building? I was the one who did the design.
I was the one who drafted the plans.
Every detail and every line. See that building?
I ran the crane that lifted the beams.
I was the guy who worked up above.
Look at those bricks are mine. See that building? Look how my door hangs in the frame. See that building?
40 flights up, I scratch my name.
See that building?
I'm on the staff, I work as a guard.
People don't know my job is hard. See that building?
5 days a week I work at a desk. I do the books, I handle the mail. 9 on the dot, I punch my card.
See that window up by the ledge? 10 from the top. See that window? Count from the left. 1, 2, 3, stop. That's where I work. Everyone should have something to point to, something to be proud of. Look what I did, see what I've done. I did the job, I was the one. Everyone should have something to point to, some way to be tall in the crowd. See that building, day after day after day after day. That's where I put myself on the line. That's where I sweat to earn my pay. See that building? That's where I put the food on our place. That's where I live a piece of my life, where I can bring my kids and say, see that building? memos are typed, the concrete was laid, the bank was repaired, the office was strong, the coffee is sold, the digging was done, the building was built for all eyes to see.